evening and welcome to Up South. The killer heat wave in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh continues to be a top focus story here on Up South. But also we'll be cutting across live to Mysore today, which saw the coronation of a new king. My colleague Rohini Swami brings us all the action from the Mysore Palace as Yaduvir Gopal Raj Urs has been coronated as the new king of Mysore. In fact, the who is who of Karnataka were in attendance to witness the grand coronation. Rohini Swami sent us this report from Mysore.
Mysore has a new ruler. In a traditional ceremony, US-educated Yaduvir Krishnadatta Vadiyar was crowned as the titular head of the erstwhile Mysore royal family. The coronation took place at the Kalyana Mandap in Amba Vilas Palace amid Vedic chants and slogans hailing the new king.
My message is your continued support and cooperation will ensure that our heritage remains alive. Our heritage, that is the House of Vadiyar, has been intertwined with that of the Deccan, that of the Kannada culture, that of Karnataka for over 600 years. And your continued support and cooperation ensures that that 600-year-old heritage remains alive.
Yaduvir was adopted by Pramoda Devi after the death of her husband and former king Shrikant Datta Narasimharaja Vadiyar last year. The ceremony was attended by 1,500 people besides several dignitaries.
He's a young person, highly educated, qualified. I hope that he will inspire the entire youths, not only of Karnataka, youths of the country.
So many things they have done. It is not going to be forgotten by the future generation, present generation, even the past generation.
Considered one of the richest royals in the country, the Vadiyars have huge movable and immovable properties, including royal palaces in Mysore and Bengaluru, valued at crores of rupees. In June, a Bengaluru court will hear the claim of Kantraj Urs, the eldest nephew of the late king. Urs wants the entire estate and properties worth £8 billion by some estimates to be split equally among the family. Urs claims that his uncle divided his immense wealth between his 5 sisters before he died 2 years ago, childless and without naming an heir.
This 23-year-old boy who's studying in Boston, who's pursuing his major in economics, who's recently adopted as the heir of the Mysore royal family, after which this coronation ceremony has taken place. What is important is people in Mysore looking forward to the new king, a new generation, a mix of modernity with their tradition, and hopefully they feel that the tradition of the Vadiyars will continue for years together. Rohini Swami in Mysore for India Today.
Right, let's cut across now live to Rohini Swami, who joins us from outside the Mysore Palace. Rohini, some lovely pictures you have got us from there, from Mysore. Now, this is an unique blend of tradition with modernity. A 23-year-old, the new king of Mysore. Now, how are the people on the streets of Mysore really reacting to their new king?
Well, let me tell you that you have seen the pictures. I have actually gone and experienced the whole thing. It's exhilarating. The whole excitement in the air is completely different. And that is what the Mysore Palace, the whole royalty of Mysore has always brushed upon anybody, be it the people of Mysore, people of Karnataka, or people who actually come and witness this. The beautiful Mysore Palace right behind me, but it'll be lit around 7 o'clock. And that is the time when we're also expecting the new Maharaja, who will be sitting on a silver throne and meeting and greeting the people. Also with me right now is the CEO of the Mysore Palace, Mr. Lakshman Narayana. If I can ask you, you have done a very important job today, and that is you tied the patta, or the part of the crown, which is very, very important. But how important is, even in today, the relevance of the Vadiyar family to the people of Mysore or Karnataka?
It is quite evident that it is relevant even today, but the only fact is that it's purely on a private basis, because we are in a democracy, and then whatever traditions that the Mysore royal family is following is purely based on the tradition right from 1399 onwards. For 600 years, almost 25 rulers have ruled this state, and then 26th was our Shrikanta Datta Narasimharaj Odiyar, who followed the tradition, though symbolically, and now the 27th Maharaja is Yaduvir.
Let me ask you about Yaduvir, because that's interesting. 23-year-old who's taken up as a title ahead of the Mysore palace of the Wadayas, but the kind of impact he can make, I have seen, but even when we were talking also a little earlier, we saw how the Maharani was hand-holding him through the ceremonies, through the rituals, that affection of the son and how she's doing. Even when he was meeting people, she would slightly nudge him and say, you know, you have to talk to people, and so that he understands what it is to be like a king here in Mysore.
Yeah, Yaduvir just, in fact, Maharaja Yaduvir just finished his education in US, and he has come into Mysore about a fortnight ago. And I should say within that short stint of time, he has acquired a lot of knowledge about the aspects of the Mysore palace, his historical background, and his duties and responsibilities. But when I say knowledge, I don't mean understanding. For understanding the whole issue, he needs time. So time is what is more important. And you know, he has got varied interest. He has got varied interest right from culture to music to doing, involving in the societal activities, all that he has got in mind. Right, but then he has to, right now he is evincing interest, but according to me, the interest should get converted into passion. Yes. The moment...
That's when you start enjoying yourself. Yeah. Hold that thought for a minute. As of now, they had also found that Yaduvir, he has been coronated, but the qualities that he also has is fit to be a king. Sudhir?
Right, Rohini, it was interesting how he first said Yaduvir and then corrected himself to say Maharaja Yaduvir. Let's get in a word from Michael Ludgrove, who's the curator of the Royal Palace of Mysuru. Mr. Ludgrove, now how do you see this young king taking forward his responsibilities, and how difficult or easy will it be for him?
I think it should be quite easy for him, really, with the help and the support of the Maharani, who's had years and years and years of experience with the late Maharaja particularly. And he will come with his new ideas. He's a young man full of potential, full of enthusiasm. He's part of the royal family. And so he is aware of this immense tradition, and he'll know exactly what he has to do to take it forward.
Right, Mr. Ludgrove, a whole lot of people have come into Mysore to visit this grand ceremony, but most important are the people of Mysuru. Now, how do you see Maharaja Yaduvir making that connect with the young people of Mysuru, with the common people of Mysuru?
He'll make a huge impact. It is a dynasty which has a very, very long tradition and history. So there's not very much innovation that one would need, except perhaps for the inner workings of the dynasty, the fabric of the dynasty, the palaces, the art, the architecture, the treasures of the dynasty. He would have an impact on that.
Right. Mr. Ludgrove, stay on with us now, because the Mysore royal family had also a long connection with France. In fact, the two collaborated to actually develop Mysuru in those times, and also to get modern warfare equipment for the kingdom of Mysuru. Now, Rohini Swami also spoke to the Consul General of France, Eric Levertou, who was there at the coronation ceremony, and this is what he had to say.
So thank you so much for joining us. This whole royal celebration, royalty which your country also sees, our country, especially in Mysore, brings a lot of tourists, a lot of people, and a lot of intrigue in royalty. How do you like this whole coronation ceremony?
Well, that was a very good occasion. A lifetime occasion to have the honor and the pleasure to be here. and of course, as French, we can understand what is a royal family, even if for quite a while we are in Republic. But also it's a special links and special ties with Mysore. We are trying to have some contacts and between our French castle and French cities with historical heritage, and try to do something with Mysore. So that was also the occasion.
That's very interesting, sir. Also, what would you like to tell the new Maharaja? Young blood, a good mix of what we would call tradition with modernity. Would you like to tell him at this point of time?
Yeah, well, certainly that's exactly what you said. I mean, in a city like Mysore and like in a state like Karnataka, always this dynasty of Wadaya has a very important links with modernity. As you know, in 19th century, Mysore state was the most advanced of the state's principalities. So that was a good occasion, though.
Well, like you also said, the French connection to the Mysore royal family has been very close. Modernity, while we're talking about in technology, a lot came from the French also here in this place. And how do you like to take it forward?
I think we will try to have. We already have some cooperation with KSRTC in Mysore, and maybe we will have something around the palace too, for the lighting and things like that. So, well, I can't tell you more, but that was a pleasure to be here.
Now, Rohini, the fact that Kantaraj Urs, another nephew of the late king, was also in the race to become the new king of Mysuru. Now, he's going to pursue a legal battle now that Maharaja Yaduvir has got onto the throne. Has that left a bitter taste in the mouth, and how is it being taken and perceived by the people of Mysuru?
Well, what I've given to understand is people have seen and they have understood the fact that Yaduvir will be and has now been coronated as the king. Yes, that controversy did brew, but also let me put that question to you, sir, if I can ask you. This place has not been devoid of controversies. When Mr. Kantaraj Urs, when they were saying that he could possibly be on the throne at that time, name was floating around, and there was a lot of bitter taste that came. Has that affected the image of the family?
Absolutely not. That is perhaps purely his views, what he has expressed, and he is proceeding in his own way. But that doesn't mean that it has affected the family. The way the celebration went on today, perhaps you were also a witness to that. Absolutely. And everyone who has attended it, whether it is politicians, ministers, or officials or well-wishers, everyone was so happy. But
my question to you also, sir, is that but the fact that it was on one point possibly that the person who takes the throne had to be should not be married. Is that also one point that was taken?
Yes.
And Mr. Kantaraj Urs was married.
Yes, he is married.
So he could not ascend the throne anyway.
Yeah, no,
right.
That is always, so many. In fact, his son was preferred at the beginning. And, almost they had accepted, but then later on they declined that one, and so that is the reason then they started scouting.
It's a joyous moment, but yes, they basically know how to tide over controversies.
Right. And
like one of the person who told me in the palace is that they've seen many controversies over the ages. So right now they only it's a joyous occasion for them, and looking forward to the fact that the Wadayar family and tradition will continue, and Yaduvir will continue to take it forward.
Welcome back. You're with Up South. Now, 1,360 people have died in both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana in the last 2 weeks, converting these two states into a land of mourning. And the Met Department has promised no respite, at least till the weekend.
This summer has reduced many like Narasimhalu to a statistic. This 32-year-old who worked as a daily wage labourer in Medak district of Telangana paid with his life for exposing himself to the harsh sun for long hours. With children and elderly more vulnerable to the heat wave, keeping oneself hydrated is the only weapon to ward off a sunstroke.
Not going in the hot sun, remaining in the house, eating light food, having more water and other liquid foods, and closing the doors and windows for not allowing the loo inside.
The Met Department says the high death toll is because people are unable to bear the high temperatures without a break.
The heat wave has been for a longer period, basically in Telangana from 20th until yesterday, and from coastal Andhra Pradesh from 21st also till yesterday. And it has been there at many places in the same area. It's not restricted to one station or two stations. More than 50% of the states in both the places have recorded high temperatures.
With the sun god showing no signs of taking a break from turning on the heat, the only relief is that Hyderabadis still seem to have their sense of humor intact. So here goes a cartoon that shows Hyderabad more close to the sun than the rest of the planet. Inaccurate, but still good for a laugh at one's own plight.
With the Met Department forecasting the deadly heat wave to drag on, there is no respite in sight. With T.S. Sudhir in Hyderabad, Shujoy, India Today.
That's it then on Up South this Thursday evening. News and updates will continue on India Today.